Hi, welcome to Module 3. That was a hawk. Hope you guys saw that. It's beautiful. I love to be able to record out here in nature because it really allows me to drop into the field, into this frequency that much more easy. So today we are speaking about the how. So the how, we're going to be covering breathwork, meditation, the initial stages of identity shifting, and what's called assumptive imprinting. And so through these simple but powerful principles, I'll be guiding you through the simplicity of how actually easy all of this is. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the law of becoming, what I call the surrender experiment, or surrendering our intention to outer intention, and the mirror principle. And so through this we uncover the identity that we've been living from, and we begin to consciously align that to the one that we are truly ready to embody, that one that is truly most authentic with our heart's desire or our soul's desire. So we'll start with kind of talking about what is the mirror principle. The mirror principle, or the mirror effect, essentially states that that life is a mirror and it reflects what we project into the mirror. So what we see in our outer world is actually a reflection of what's going on within us. And so when we can become aware of that, we actually have no reason to express dissatisfaction at our circumstances or anything that's going on outside of us, because that is actually the medicine. That is what leads us back to ourself. When we experience something that creates tension, that creates resistance in our life, it's actually only there because it's trying to show us that we're not fully living our most abundant, authentic life. And so this can apply to anything. This can apply to relationships. This can apply to our job. This can apply to our living situations. This can apply to our financial situations, our health situations, the quality of sleep that we get. All of these things are mirrors. Everything is a mirror. And even deeper, our inner dialogue, our beliefs about ourselves, is a mirror of the frequency and the energy that we are operating from, and the life that we are either consciously or unconsciously choosing. And so when we can become consciously aware of the life that we are choosing, that means we can also choose to begin anew. And every moment is an opportunity to begin anew. Every single moment we get an opportunity to begin anew, to choose love, to choose life, to choose to surrender to outer intention. And that leads us to the next topic, which is outer intention. What is outer intention? Outer intention is God's intention, is life's intention, is that intention that supersedes our conscious mind, the one that we cannot comprehend, the how, right? So the who, the where, and the what, those are important to the degree that you are in alignment, but the how is never important. It doesn't matter. We don't have to figure it out because we cannot. We cannot possibly comprehend the level of layers and variables that happen in a quantum reality. We cannot. Our mind cannot comprehend it. So when we surrender to outer intention, our inner intention, our petty intentions, that is a good sign that we are in the right direction. And the way that we know that when we're doing this is when life is getting better than we could ever imagine. Because the truth is, our intention is God's intention. Your prayer is God's prayer. Your beliefs and your desire for life, God also desires. Because if you think about it, this larger circle is outer intention. This smaller circle is inner intention. That is still within the outer sphere of the circle. So when we dissolve that to the outer sphere, it becomes greater. It amplifies tenfold. And so this is what the true meaning of surrender is to me, is surrendering our petty thoughts and desires of the mind and the ego and the carnal fleshly desires, and dissolving those into what is truly outer intention or faith or God's intention for us. And then in the law of becoming, like we spoke about in the previous module, is the awareness that we are in the constant state of becoming. So we are constantly becoming this most authentic, this most organic version of ourselves that is completely enamored and immersed and embraced in catharsis of life. We are just laying it all down all the time with reverence and appreciation for what we get to experience. And this is also another barometer. This is how you know. This is how you know you're in alignment, is when you are constantly able to just, through choice, have true freedom. Because freedom of choice, and so the free will and freedom are not the same thing. Free will is the freedom to surrender. And when we surrender, that is when we gain true freedom. Because we're no longer trying to figure it out. And that's the beauty of all of this, is it's actually, I'm just using all of these terminologies to take the mind and trip it into the heart. Because the mind loves systems. When the mind has systems to work with, it is willing to surrender. Just like a good analogy is, the ego is a terrible driver, but a great passenger, because it holds the roadmap to keep us alive. Don't drive off that corner. I don't want to stumble down that mountain. But it's a terrible driver, because it constantly wants to know the most efficient path from A to B, but it cannot figure that out, because this is a quantum reality. And so in the links below, I will be sharing some of these tools, the breathworks. I'll share a brief breathwork meditation. And through these principles I just shared, this is how the identity shifting begins. And through what's called the assumptive imprinting, we get to more quantumly, or more expediently, which really doesn't exist in the quantum world, but from our mind's perception, more expediently or assumptively imprint this new identity into our lives. And so that ties back into also what I was speaking on in the law of assumption. When we assume that these things are already happening for us, through us, they come to us at an abundant rate. So I hope that this module was super helpful for you guys, and I hope that it's brought a lot of awareness into your field. And I'll see you in the next video. Hey guys, David here. So thank you again for tuning into this video series. I really appreciate having you here today. If this information, this wisdom resonates with you, feel free to like, share, subscribe, pass this on to someone you feel like might resonate with this information. As well as I have a option for donations here in the description. And so if that's something you feel called to, the donations really just kind of help further my ability to share this online education and to increase the quality and capacity to continue to do this. So really grateful to have you here, and look forward to continuing the journey together.